So it's pretty obvious that we're all addicted to dopamine and that something needs to be done to stop it. My name is Jeremiah, and I'm interested in exploring the philosophy behind fitness, health, and lifestyle on the path to self improvement. So, I personally have been addicted to dopamine for years and years, from my adolescence to my teenage to my adult years. I've been playing video games and scrolling through Instagram, watching YouTube, and other things for thousands and thousands of hours. And when I look back, I start to realize how much I actually missed out on because of this addiction that nobody ever told us was an addiction. I've weakened my mind, I've destroyed my health, I failed to build any valuable skills, and I've pretty much eviscerated any work ethic that I had in the beginning. It's all gone now. And the reason for this is because the most highly, instantly rewarding activities, they all require the least amount of effort. So now my brain has been conditioned to watch YouTube instead of working, or I don't know, playing video games instead of actually going and exercising, even like eating junk food and just bad foods and going out to eat instead of cooking and eating nutritious meals that I crafted for myself, that I know that my body needs to be optimally running. Not to mention, I'd rather just drink alcohol to get confidence instead of actually developing social skills so that I can have a good time at an event without altering my brain state. And all of this combined negativity that has been introduced into my life and maybe your life as well, it's just left me feeling unfulfilled and lacking motivation to actually do something with my life when I know that I have the capacity to. It's like it just, all of these cheap dopamine sources suck every bit of motivation and discipline and ambition out of you. So it just becomes impossible for you to build something that you actually can be proud of. So what did I decide to do about this? I decided that I've been hearing about the dopamine detox and the effects of cheap dopamine for so long. So I decided to do a 24-hour strict dopamine fast. I don't want to call it a detox because I'm still going to be getting dopamine from work, from exercise, from walking, all that good stuff. I'll get into that in a second. But I'm still going to be getting dopamine, just not going to be indulging in the cheap stuff. So there's a list of things that I went 24 hours without. So that is music, unnecessary cell phone use, unnecessary shopping, junk food, video games, coffee, TV, YouTube, and anything sexual. Basically, I was only allowed to journal, walk, exercise, play with my dog, cook and eat meals that were not overly stimulating. Oh, meditate. Meditate. I don't know if I said meditate, but meditate was a huge one for me. So the goal of the day was for me to starve that huge craving for dopamine. I just be hungry the entire day and eventually resensitize and reset my brain to crave the smaller, more fulfilling forms of dopamine, such as, like I said before, walking, exercising, playing with my dog, that kind of stuff. So now that we know the parameters of what I've done, I want to first give you the insight on how it actually helped me and what even happened in the process of me going throughout my day. So, almost immediately, I'll tell you that I realized that as soon as I removed this easy escape to my phone or my computer or any of this stuff, my search for purpose almost immediately returned. Now, I feel like I always have this desire for purpose, or, I'm always looking for what my purpose is. But when you have the option to stop looking or stop thinking about it as soon as it becomes difficult, or you start thinking about, oh, I want all these big things but I don't know how to get them, or that I just think that's just too ambitious for me. As soon as you start thinking those things, when you have the option to go to Instagram, you're going to. All right, you're going to run right to it. And you're going to run away from the ideas and actually breaking down and articulating the idea of how do I get there? Because it's hard. And it's hard to get the things we want in life. But when you're left with no way to just aimlessly turn your brain off, you're forced to think. You start thinking about all of your problems and how they can be fixed. And you start to realize that, yeah, your life is limited and you're slowly losing time. Each and every day, it doesn't matter what you do, whether you're doing something productive or you're doing something unproductive, you're slowly losing time. And when you waste that time scrolling mindlessly on Instagram and playing video games with, before you've even gotten any work done, you're you're speeding up that natural occurrence of the depletion of your life without accomplishing anything with the time. You think about how each sip of alcohol is directly destroying your health. It doesn't matter how much or how little you drink of it, you're directly harming yourself. You realize that every single time you watch porn, whether it's a minute or an hour, you're directly deconstructing the fortitude of your mind. Like you're not able to withstand any type of, you have no resilience. And every hour of video games that you play is, yeah, you're building a life for this virtual avatar, while at the same time you're burning all of your hopes and dreams to the ground. Personally, that's what I think about when I have nothing else to do. I start thinking about all the things that I've done over the years and what could have been done with the time and what I can do now to actually make some progress and get ahead. So pretty much the biggest benefit of 24-hour dopamine fasting for me was getting me to actually think about how to use my time more purposefully instead of aimlessly. So the 24 hours definitely provided some pretty great benefits, but that's not to say that it didn't come without any hardships. So just to let you know, you will have urges to indulge in your favorite cheap dopamine vices throughout the day. It's just going to happen. It's inevitable. But it's important to be able to recognize the feeling as it's coming on and then start to think about where the feeling's coming from. In my experience, there's the obvious boredom, but specifically when things start to get hard, my heart starts beating, my face starts sweating, and my hand starts reaching for ways to escape that thought process. So that's when I recognize that is anxiety and an incapability to be able to take a step back, breathe, come back in with a clear head, and just keep pushing through. I'm completely incapable of that because throughout my years, especially when I start thinking about it, it goes back to me doing homework. And when the homework started getting a little bit more difficult in school, I'd be like, oh man, I don't feel like thinking about this right now. This is just too hard. I'm gonna stop and play some video games. And it just kept going. It kept going from there. And you start using other things to escape, and you start doing it more and more often because you know that it would feel good for you to complete this calculus homework, all right, this problem or this physics problem that you got to really think through and use your critical thinking skills. If you could finish that, the amount of fulfillment and dopamine that you would get from solving that problem would be great. But the amount of dopamine that you would get from playing 2K or Call of Duty with one of your best friends online would also be pretty good, and you can have it as long as you want, and you don't have to really work that hard for it. So you can kind of see, in my case, where my anxiety habits stem from. So now that goes for when I'm at work working, or if I'm working on making videos or making music, or anything creative, or in a conversation when things start to get tense, like my heart starts beating and I want to find some sort of escape. I want to go to Google and search something, or I want to go to Instagram and scroll through the reels just to get my mind off of that tense situation or something where I was actually going to have to put in some sort of effort to get through. But what I had to realize was that the urges aren't coming because of the dopamine fast. The urges are the reason why I need to do the dopamine fast. And now you have no choice but to process the emotions. All right, actually work through your anxiety and these thoughts instead of just turning around and running away. It just takes a bit of self-awareness to realize that progress and fulfillment will come on the other side of struggle, not running back to the arms of your whatever your vices are. And this is where the journaling and the meditation and the walks helped. You know, the journaling helped me put my thoughts on paper and actually make them tangible and make them real so that they're not just racing around in my head all day, causing and creating more anxiety for myself. I love journaling, and I'll probably make a whole video on journaling. But meditation and walks were really good for helping me take that step back, take that deep breath, focus in on some sort of problem, because when you meditate, you focus on the breath, and it just helps you build a bit more resistance and resilience in your head and in your mind to be able to take a step back and then come back and be good. So that's how I got through. I'm just letting you know this is what worked for me and what I'm continuing to practice to hopefully break this cheap dopamine addiction. Like, I don't want to need to look at YouTube for 5 hours a day, or I already deleted my Instagram, so that's gone. But we're just working on it. So now that we've gotten through the 24-hour dopamine fast, we got to start thinking about how to move forward. All right, because you don't want to go through all of this stress and all of this work to reset your brain just to go and reset into YouTube and watching YouTube all day and playing video games all day and not doing the things that you already know you have to do. So that'll be in the next video. I'm going to talk through basically how I'm perceiving life after the dopamine fast. So like this video if you got any value out of it, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next video in this series. And I think it's going to be a good one. So stay tuned for that. And for now, I'm out.